This is the guy that I was talking about here who really has been a big help to me over the last 6 months. And he sends me emails about different topics and stuff that I'm interested in. And finally, he got a hand. He got a hand here. And I think he's from the Philadelphia area. So let's go to Michael G. Michael G here. What's up, Michael?
Hey, Bart, how are you?
Good. How's it going? Just speak up just a tad.
Good. We are. How's it? Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. It's a 1-3 game at Rivers Casino.
Okay.
Max buy-in is $500.
1-3, no limit, Rivers, in Pennsylvania. Now, Mike, you seem to, from the stuff that you've emailed me, have you ever played 2-5? Have you ever taken shot taken or anything like that?
I have about 15 hours in it. Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you feeling more confident with your CLP stuff that you're gonna start taking some shots?
I am. It's. I think it's more to do with the money. I have to look at it as units and not, $1,000. Even though I have it covered, just the idea of losing that just drives me nuts for whatever reason. So I have to let go of that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I always say like it's a right, depending on what the drop in the rake structure is, though, if you really want to make serious money, it's a race to the $5 blind level. Although in Texas, though, you can make serious money at the low stakes because it's time. But Texas is probably the only place where when you're playing low stakes, no limit, there's no rake. So, all right. So 1-3 at Rivers. Okay. 500 effective, right?
550 effective. I'm the
550.
effective stack with 550.
Okay.
All right. We're playing six-handed. So I'm the cutoff, but I'm +3 under the gun.
Okay.
So there's a limper to me,
Okay.
and I have king of spades, king of diamonds, and I
Yep.
raised to $23.
King of spades, king of diamonds. Is it six-handed because it's like late at night or something?
It's six-handed because the guy between me and the villain just got busted, and one of the other guys wanted to take a smoke after
Yeah.
losing a big stack.
So they're like walking and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So you make it.
There's a call in,
So
so
you,
we were waiting for the call in.
so you make it 23. What's the standard open size without a limp in there?
15 to 20, the guys are opening it too.
Okay. All right. So you make it 23. Okay. So the limper calls. Yep.
So the flop comes king of clubs, 10 of hearts, 9 of diamonds.
So the pot's like $50, right?
Correct, yes.
All right. So king of hearts. What was it again? King of
King
hearts.
of clubs, king clubs,
Yep. King clubs. Yep.
10 of hearts,
10 of hearts. Okay.
9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds. Okay. So you flop top set.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
This is my first question. He checked,
Mm-hmm.
and I bet $20.
Okay.
I mean, do I increase the bet to 20? I mean, that was the first question.
Well, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I mean, it's not overly complex in the sense that, I mean, you have top set, right? So, yeah, you're blocking top pairs, but this is much, much different than if it had come out like King 7 Deuce Rainbow, right? Where you've got all, there isn't a whole lot for the guy to call. I mean, we all just know that these guys love to VPIP, like, they love to VPIP like sort of these high kind of Broadway offsuit cards. The other thing, too, you have to understand, Mike, is it's not like you're going to get action from pocket sixes anyways, right? You're not concerned about pocket sixes.
No,
You know what I mean?
I'm not concerned of anything. I don't want
Yeah.
I don't want people to fold out. So
But my
he
my
called.
point is
Yeah.
that you might as well just bet now to get calls from those hands because sixes isn't going to call you anyways,
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So that was fine. Okay.
yeah.
So he called, and now the ace of club comes out on the turn.
All right. So limper calls, pot's 90. Okay. Yep.
Now this is the real question. The ace of clubs hits the turn,
Okay.
and he leads 50.
Limper leads 50. So the flop is the king of clubs, 10 of hearts, 9 of diamonds. If we're doing this distribution correct, ace of clubs. So what do you think that this a lot of times will represent here with this sort of flop distribution in this turn card in terms of the suits?
So I thought he either had the ace. I thought helped him. I didn't think he had the straight. I wasn't worried about that. So I'm thinking he had two pair, an ace, maybe ace 9, maybe ace 10. One of those two combos, I thought.
Or like ace jack, ace queen, maybe some shit like that, right?
Here's I didn't think that because why didn't he raise pre?
Mm-hmm,
Or
mm-hmm.
why didn't he limp three bet me? Because that seemed to be the in vogue conversation. But I thought that too, that could happen, but it didn't. So I don't just so him just limping under the gun basically.
Yeah.
I didn't think he had a big ace king, ace queen, ace
So
jack. If he did,
I tend to agree with you with part of that, but what's another I would say part of this range that he might lead here on the turn? Think about the suits and think about like what he might call with on the flop.
Well, if he had two clubs, I mean, if he had two clubs, you can't have the ace of clubs. Oh, he could have the ace. You can't have the ace of clubs because that's on board.
Right.
So
what's a gut shot on the
he could have 7-8. He could have 7-8. Yeah.
What's a gut shot on the flop? Like just any gut shot, right? A queen or a jack X, right? So I'm thinking maybe like he could have a queen high flush draw now, jack high flush draw, or he could have 10x of clubs or 9x of clubs. I know it's kind of weird, but I have seen these types of things happen. I mean, there's absolutely no doubt that you should raise here on the turn, and I know you've been listening to Small Stakes Exploits podcast, but one of the things I think it was either last week or the week before is that you cannot depend on your opponent to continue with the betting lead. You have to take it away from them. So there are certain situations where people will call whether it's in or out of position, and it just makes absolutely no sense to me because if you were to call here, a lot of times the river is going to be reflected with a check. So if a guy leads, say like, whatever, he was waiting for some sort of safe card, although it's weird because the turn's an ace, but he's waiting for a safe card and then he led turn and he only has one pair, he's going to check the river. So what's the point of calling? You know what I'm saying?
And he could have done it with 7-8 clubs too. I mean, that's another one.
Yeah, and it's just like we don't worry about queen jack here. He's going to check call lead with queen jack. I mean, that's absurd, right?
Exactly.
So I would absolutely raise here for sure.
Well, I did, and I only raised it to 125. I did it to raise and half, and he called. So looking back, I'm thinking, is that I should have made it 250? You think, or?
Well, here's the thing. So, I mean, you want to get the most money in as possible. Like I would want to set up so that I can get money in at the end. So if you make it 125 and he calls, the pot will be 340 because you're putting in 250.
Pot was 340. Yep, pot was 340 exactly.
And then you guys have like another 300 left.
380 left.
Yeah, so I might want to make it more than this, Mike, so that I can get the money in at the end. I might go 150 to 175. So I think it's a little bit small.
I thought so. That's why I emailed you, because I realized that afterwards, after the river action, I realized that I lost money on this hand.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
so he calls?
That was it. He called.
All right. So call, and now the pot's 340. Because you can see here, like, I don't know what's going to happen, but let's say that the river is like, the deuce of diamonds, and he checks, and you've got 380 left, and the pot's 340. Some people aren't going to be comfortable calling it off here with like ace jack, or even like ace 9 or some bullshit like that. Whereas if you juice the pot up a little bit more, it's easier. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So the river came the queen of clubs. So
four-liner. That's really interesting. This is why, by the way, I picked this hand, because it is, like in small stakes, which is what you're playing, you would be shocked how thin you can actually go for value. So the final board is king of clubs, 10 of hearts, 9 of diamonds, ace of clubs, river's a queen of clubs. So the backdoor club comes in. There's a one-liner out here to a jack. Now, before you tell me what you're going to do, let's say that the river was an offsuit queen, right? Instead of the queen of clubs, and he checked to you. You absolutely have a mandatory bet. Who the fuck is going to be checking a jack to you at the end there, right? This one's a little bit hairy, because I've still seen people check jacks here, and we talked about the fact that he could have like backdoor clubs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So what happened?
So he checked.
By the way, what would happen if he bet here?
I probably would have raised.
Wait a minute.
He would have bet. If it
Michael,
was this, well, I'm
Michael,
lying.
how you gonna
I probably would have called.
Mike, how you gonna raise? You're not gonna raise. Come on. No, I'm saying it's interesting. Like if you were to bet, say, full pot at the end, like what you would do. Because, and again, another small stakes exploit here is that let's say he bets 350 here at the end. The problem that I have heroing down, what is very troublesome for me in this hand, is the fact that he would have to be turning a hand into a bluff, like a two pair hand into a bluff, which is just not really common at the small stakes, and that's really what the
Well,
problem
and
is. You
right, and
know?
when he checked, no, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm not going to raise. I mean,
Yeah.
I would curse the gods and have to make the crying call. But he checked. I took a minute, and I think that kind of messed him up a little. Bet 180. So he says, if you have a queen, now this is to your point about people not reading boards. If you have a queen, you got me. I said, oh shit, he has a set of aces.
So wait a minute. So he checks. Now, did you consider checking it back?
No.
Really?
I figured. Yeah, no, I didn't. After what happened, after my first call into you, I'm never. No, if he check raised me and then I have to fold, that's fine. But no, I'm not going to misvalue. It's just
So what do you think you're going to get what do you think you're getting value from here at the end?
probably two pair. Probably ace 10, probably.
So do you think that he's still going to call you with aces up here at the end on a one-liner to a jack and the backdoor clubs coming in?
Well, did I think so? I mean, I hope so. When I bet, I wasn't worried about. I didn't think he had a jack. I didn't think he had clubs. So yeah, I was hoping he'd call. I mean, it was small enough that.
Mm-hmm. Hold on. Before you say anything. So if I put myself and yourself in this position, I think it's very, very close. I don't think that he is checking a flush here, and I don't think he's checking many jacks here. I think that he would actually block. So I think a small bet here is in order, and I think a lot of people actually miss out on this. You want to get called by aces up. The higher that you go, the tougher the game. I would seriously consider checking this back. So what did you do?
I bet 180 after a minute.
Wow, 180, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet 180.
Yep.
He called and said, if you have a jack, you got me.
If you have a jack, you got me. Well, then you have the best hand, right?
Well, I turned over a set. He didn't think I had a set because why would I bet him? Afterwards, we talked about it. He had aces up. He had aces and nines.
Great bet, Mike. I mean, I think it's very, very close. But again, I think, and I hope, and I'm not just plugging CLP, but I'm assuming that you learned some of this thin value betting on wet boards from CLP.
Well,
but
I put that in the email.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made that a year ago. I would have checked happily, but then I took a minute to think everything through.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, let's start from the beginning. Who limps with even Jack Queen? I can't see someone limping, but Ace 9, Ace 8, pocket 9s, pocket 10s, maybe limping, but I didn't see him having a set. So when you narrow it down, it was a crummy two pair, and he got caught.
Well, it's aces. You're right. I mean, it's aces up. Here's the thing, and I'll wrap this up here. Here's the reason why you can bet at the end. And again, I continue to go back to this, is that especially at these stakes, usually you're not dealing with studious players. And even if people don't even know what the word polarization means, okay? Like if you say, hey, what does polarized mean? They don't know what it means. But the reason why you can get away with making this bet is because from your opponent's perspective, a non-studious opponent, when they're looking at the hand, they're trying to think about what they would do in your spot, Mike. And they would never, ever bet a hand like a set here in a million years. So because of that, when you bet, they think you either have a flush or a jack or you're bluffing. And that's why you get called down here by ace 9. And that's about as simple as it gets. That's really what my main contention is, you know. Okay. So, nice hand, nice hand, Michael. I think you might have some work to do here in the live chat, though.
I am. I'm jumping on. I'm jumping out on in a second. All right.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Bye.